Welcome to our web exclusive. I'm Mike Montecalvo, along with Eyewitness News analyst Lieutenant General Reginald Centracchio. And severe weather week continues on Eyewitness News. We're really not tracking any threats of any real storms right now, but we're trying to get you prepared just in case a storm could be down the road. Now, General, when you were Adjutant General of the Rhode Island National Guard, you also headed up the EMA. So you've seen the differences, let's say, from the '54 hurricane up until Sandy and the technological advances we've made.
I've seen it from when you had the old rotary telephone, which was top technology at the time, to the point where now we have video conferencing with as many states as you can get on it, specifically the Northeast corridor, and just the kind of advancing we have with satellite information, tremendous strides in being able to predict storms and obviously advising the general public as to when they're going to get here, what the severity of the storm would be, and the duration. All
right, General, let's talk a little bit about the Emergency Management Agency. It's not just on the state level, but the local level. They're all coordinating with even the state police and local police departments, too. Has that been a real key to this over the last several years?
You know, the key to every operation has much to do with the communications aspect of it. You can have the best plan, but unless you share that and people know what's in it, it's of no use at all. So between all of the interstate agencies and the intrastate agencies, federal agencies, regional, this is an unprecedented amount of communications that's taken place just on a switch of the button, so to speak.
You're not going to change the strength of a storm, and you know, a lot of us don't remember from years ago, but we're seeing a pickup in whether it's blizzards, floods, and hurricanes. What about National Grid and the power grid with down trees and power lines? What are they doing over the last several years?
I think I've seen a tremendous improvement over the last several years, and specifically the last couple of cycles, where I've seen the National Grid out there year-round, taking care of the large trees and making sure that we're not having to deal with the same growth from year to year, as well as all of the other infrastructure that National Grid is responsible for, as well as the, you know, Verizon and Cox and everybody else that has cables out there. So I think just the preparedness in getting us ready has been just a tremendous effort in the last several years.
You know, there's also that fear of flooding too, as we saw what happened to the Warwick Mall years ago. You know, how do we prepare for something like that?
You know, the Warwick Mall, in fact, I talked to Aram Garabedian recently, and he was even thinking at some point about putting a wall around the mall and having gates, but that's obviously just a possibility, which probably will never happen. But the bottom line is you have to be prepared to be able to take stuff off the floor and to salvage as much as you can in the event that we have another flood like that. The ability to be able to put bladders on the highways, as was talked about, still hasn't been done. Dredging the river in different places along the Patuxent hasn't been done. But those are solutions that could, in fact, solve some of the problem.
Why is there a hang-up with that?
I think it has much to do with, number one, money availability, and number two, DEM and all of the EPA considerations that need to be studied before you do that kind of stuff.
And how much does this fall upon, you know, us residents?
You know, Mike, that's the key. You can give as much warning, you can have as much preparedness, but if each individual doesn't take it upon themselves to be able to heed the information and make preparedness within their own home to be able to subsist for about 3 days or perhaps more, then once again, all the information is for naught.
Well, we've seen it so many times where they're evacuating, let's say, South County, Narragansett, whatever, and people don't leave. We saw that even in Westerly, too.
Even with the mandatory evacuation, there's no way you can go in and physically extract people from their homes. The best you can do is make them aware that, you know, resources need to go to areas that can, in fact, be the recipient of that resource versus one who's been given the warning to be able to, you know, vacate now while you can. All
right, General, I want to touch upon one other subject before we get out of here. The Muslim Brotherhood losing some steam, especially in Egypt over the last several weeks. What is going on? Why are residents turning on them?
You know, I think that the misnomer for Arab Spring last year and the year before had much to do with a change that was being desired by the people. What the people did not want in the Mideast in general was to have a Muslim Brotherhood, radical Islam, to be their government, and that's exactly what we're seeing. When you have the Muslim Brotherhood that was in fact the organization for Egypt, they're making it known now they don't want that, so you're seeing a reversal, and I think you'll see that spread across the entire Mideast.
All right, General Centracchio, as always, thank you for your thoughts, and thanks for watching.